All right, thanks everyone for joining. Um, Sorry, we are a little bit off. So I'm going to talk about RHEL7, what's new in RHEL7. If you attended some of the earlier sessions, like William Henry's, he already started to talk about Docker and containers and those things. But I kind of wanted to go or to go over the general items such as in-place upgrades and Windows interoperability and those things. And yeah, so um, all right, let me just go through pretty quickly because I don't have all the time today. So a little bit about history of RHEL, and then some of the key capabilities and key takeaways. So the history. I know I probably shouldn't go over this slide, but 2002 is the 2.1. We added RHEL 3 uh, and RHEL 4. You can see the slide later. All right. So we have a bunch of different environments: physical, virtual, private, and public. Our message has been the same for quite some time, and we've been saying that um, Linux automation and those things for those of you who've been with Red Hat since days of JBoss acquisition and those days. We've been saying that all these different environments we be able to run RHEL. And one additional thing that's going to be new for RHEL 7 is the integration of Docker. And this allows um, virtualized or contained applications to be deployed in all these environments. So we've been running this beta test for RHEL 7, and RHEL 7 is coming out very, very soon. But we had a high touch beta customers as well as public beta. And we've done some surveys and to get the feedback on the RHEL 7, and we asked participants to when they plan to deploy instances of RHEL 7. And most of you know that most of the customers don't deploy the zero point 0 version, especially in uh, regions like Japan. They even wait for one major version to deploy. But the interesting thing about RHEL 7 is that 62% of respondents said that they plan to deploy 7.0 within 6 months. And 37% said that they're going to deploy within 3 months. So why would they be interested in deploying in such a hurry, right? So that's because of the key capabilities that we are deploying in RHEL 7. So as you may know, that we're going to be integrating a Docker container support into RHEL 7. And also we are expanding Windows interoperability. And also we are adding a new file system enhancements, including XFS. And also we are adding some profiles to the operating system so that if you are deploying a database, it will be optimized for database. If you're deploying a Java application server, we can deploy a Java optimized profile. And also, we are introducing this new capability called OpenLMI. And OpenLMI, I'm going to go a little more deeper later on, but it allows you to manage your system remotely using a common API. So those are the major things that's being added to RHEL 7. And let's just take a look at some of those items. So Linux containers and Docker technology. This is if you have seen any of the news, you see these things mentioned everywhere. But what's very interesting and why it's important is that the containers and Docker technology allows you to create your own image of your applications. So whether you are an ISV or a enterprise application developer, you can benefit from Docker technology greatly. And you, like I said, the Linux automation type of things, the physical, virtual, private, public cloud, the same thing applies to any of these environments. So what's container, right? If you attended William Henry's session, you probably get a pretty good idea. But just in case you didn't attend the session, um, so Linux containers create uh, a packaging concept that typically includes the application and all the runtime that's required. The containers make it very easier to deploy and update applications across multiple environments. So you can think of it as kind of like a virtualized application, right? It's going to be it is a packaged image. So um, if you're a developer, um, what you had to do was in previous, if you didn't have a Docker or container, what you had to do was develop an application, and in order to deploy, you had to create probably a manual and how to configure, how to install, and how to deploy. And your IT operations team would have to go and install those things according to your manual and um, stuff like that. But if it's if you're utilizing Docker and containers, all you have to do is create an image and all the dependencies and required libraries and runtime into a container image. So all you have to do is hand over a application, uh, hand over the image to the operations team, and they can just deploy it one click. So that's going to simplify a lot of the complexity that you have in the application development cycle. So the benefits, of course, is deployment flexibility and operational efficiency, and maintenance is going to be easy, and the deployment cost will be much lower. So the benefits that not mentioned here is that um, so the Docker images don't include OS like a virtual machines, and Docker images are so hence that's it's going to be very small, and they are quite scalable. So if you think virtual machines, even if you have uh, some latest physical hardware, uh, you can't probably deploy a thousands of virtual machines into one physical server. But with containers, it's a quite reachable number. Okay. So if you have a environment where developers and operations team work very closely together, you can benefit greatly from these technologies. So developers can focus only on what they care about, right? So their code and applications and dependencies and data store, those things. and IT operations can focus on what they are about, hardware, OS, networking, and monitoring, and those things. But of course, if you remember the old days where uh, dev will create an application, and if it worked in the dev environment, you hand it over to operations, and operations mess up things, then developers won't do anything. But that's going to change because the developers are partially responsible for creating a uh, operational application from the get-go. Okay, so we announced something that we call Atomic Host at the summit, and I think William is going to have another session around Atomic Host. So I'm not going to go too deep into this, but uh, the interesting thing about Atomic Host is that it's a minimal OS, minimal version of the OS, and it combines atomic updating with a secure and consistent host environment. And it's based on the project Atomic, upstream project called Atomic, and it is designed to be a system image for the hosting containers. So uh, it's somewhat similar to what RHEL7 image is, but um, it is it's not exactly the same. It's still a minimal OS, but it allows you to update as well. So it's not just the delivery mechanism is not going to be just an OS. I'm sorry, just an ISO image. You'll be able to update um, the atomic host. The time frame for this is that we are testing with the high touch beta customers right now, and we will be releasing a tech preview version of Atomic Host later this year. The fully supported version of Atomic Host is slated to be sometime maybe next year, but we don't know yet. So the Atomic Host is its minimal secure footprint. So if you think about RHEL7, it was minimal packages in the OS. So you didn't have to update the OS as much. So and it also creates a more secure footprint because of the attack surface is smaller, and it provides a rapid provisioning and simplified maintenance for the uh, Docker engine. This includes the System D and SE Linux and the Docker technology. And the update mechanism is going to be based on something called RPM OS tree. So, like the picture I showed earlier, we have all these environments covered with OS. And now with Docker, we'll be able to cover our applications portable in any of these environments. So another update, another new features included in RHEL is Windows interoperability. So for many organizations, Active Directory is the central hub for the identity management and whatnot. But often the case that all the systems that AD users can access need to access to authentication and identity lookups. So identity management in RHEL7 provides two paths to integrate Linux systems into AD environments. And one of them is the direct integration using SSSD and acts as a identity and authentication gateway into a central identity store. And it can be configured using a new component called RHEL7. And RHEL7 detects an available domain based on the DNS records and configures the SSSD to interact with the right identity source. The other way is the indirect integration. So direct integration is limited to only the authentication and ID information related to users. The systems don't get the policies and data, and that's going to limit the identity access control potential. So RHEL7 also offers indirect integration through identity management. And Linux systems can now get the policies like sudo, or host-based access controls, auto mount, net groups, and SE Linux user mapping, those things. And another improvement is the choice of file systems. So RHEL7 provides the support for additional file systems. And the biggest change, of course, is that now it includes the XFS file system as a default. And the support limit is 500 terabytes. The previous limit was 100 terabytes. So that's a 5 times more. And ButterFS is still a little bit new. So, but we are going to be including the ButterFS as well. ext4 supports the file system up to 50 terabyte now, which is up from 16. And yes, and also Parallel NFS is going to support all the commercially available server layout types. So if you visualize this, this is what RHEL7 looks like. So 500 terabyte is pretty big. There's also some improvements in terms of performance. So we have a set of performance optimized profiles and tuning utilities to make sure that you have the best out of your environment. TuneD is a system tuning daemon that tunes the system settings dynamically depending on the usage. And RHEL7 includes several default TuneD profiles, such as database, Java application server, so on. And of course, you can create your own profile based on the existing profile, depending on your use cases. And RHEL7 also enhances Tuna. Tuna is a GUI tool for system performance tuning and profile management. And it helps the customers get the best performance out of the systems by using load balancing and monitoring. to eliminate the hotspots. This was primarily used in the RHEL real-time add-on, not add-on, but RHEL real-time version. But now we are including this into RHEL 7. We're also including some tool uh, to monitor your system profile. Performance Copilot is a new framework for system-wide performance monitoring, and it provides an API to import and export a sample data, and it can transmit the data across the network and integrate it into subsystems like a syslog-D, star, or systat or systemd, and it gives you a common GUI. Another one is thermostat, and thermostat is for JVM's instance. So we've done some benchmarking, and the results were mostly very positive. So RHEL 6 and RHEL 7 comparison here shows that a lot of the RHEL 7 benchmarks were better than RHEL 6. The thing was that RHEL 6 already had a very much optimized most of the basic components of the OS, like storage or networking. So what we focused on in RHEL 7 is to deliver a more complex workloads, such as databases and analytic software and Java applications. And another improvement is around installation. So RHEL 7 includes the newer version of Anaconda. So if you remember RHEL 6 installation screen, if you go through Anaconda, you have to go through like 10, 13 screens in order to finish install. But we've integrated a more of a hub and spoke type of installation method. So the minimal screen that you have to go through is 3 screens. And like I said, we provide a pre-configured profiles. So if you have a web server, you can pick a web server profile and then be done with it. And you can also create your own profile, like I said. Another big thing around installation is the in-place upgrade. So if you have a RHEL 6 system, this needs to be the latest version of RHEL 6. But if you have a RHEL 6 system, you'll be allowed to upgrade to RHEL 7. So we provide 2 tools, and one tool is the pre-upgrade assessment tool, and another tool is a upgrade tool, which does the upgrade. And you can also take a snapshot and roll back during the install. And RHEL 7 also inclusion of systemd allows a more granular control over your processes and services. A little more about the in-place upgrade. We are running out of time, so I gotta speed up a bit. So This was a major request that came from one of many of the major customers of ours, and one of the reasons why RHEL 7 got delayed was also because of the in-place upgrade. We really needed to integrate this into RHEL 7. So, like I said, it includes two tools and pre-upgrade assistant, which validates the existing install against the RHEL 7 image, and it produces a report and two collection of config files and which prepares you for the migration. And another tool is the upgrade tool itself, and it will upgrade your based on the assessment tool. It will do the upgrade. This also works for a virtual machine images, so you can do a virtual machine migration from RHEL 6 to RHEL 7. This is going to be a major component for your Unix shop customers because they are used to proprietary Unix upgrade tools. So by providing this tool, they'll be able to do the same in RHEL. All right. So about System D, RHEL 7 allows for a more granular control over your processes and services. And you can prioritize the services that need to be boot up faster than the rest. So that comes up first. But the major thing is that you can parallelize the startup process so that instead of going serial, it boots up much faster. So if you run a Fedora, um, you notice the faster boot up time, but this is now integrated into RHEL 7 as well. So if you have a customer that needs a lower downtime, which is practically everyone, I think, this is going to be a very important addition. As for desktops, we're gonna include three different desktops: so GNOME Classic and GNOME 3 and KDE. Um, we heard a lot about GNOME discussion, and we decided that GNOME Classic as a default, which is very similar to what RHEL 6 uses. But if you prefer, GNOME 3 and KDE are also available. Another addition is OpenLMI, and OpenLMI it provides a common infrastructure for a remote management of Linux systems. It supports a configuration, management, and monitoring of hardware and OS and services. And it provides the standard API. So it has a potential to be integrated into a third-party management tools, and pretty sure that Satellite is going to utilize this in future. Okay, so we've done a lot of testing, and yeah, so we are good to go, ready to go, and RHEL 7 is going to be available very soon. Okay, so the final deck is the key takeaways. Okay, so this is a kind of a fluffy marketing type of message, but I think the key component is the containers and other things that I mentioned here. What I want to do here, I have 15 more minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Um, 10 minutes, I want to kind of give you a bit of an idea how, if you are an SA and you're talking to a customer, what's the new features in RHEL 7? If you don't have time to, present the whole presentation to the customer, maybe what you can do is a whiteboard. Let me see if I can. Yeah, is everybody seeing this? Yeah, the handwriting in my on my Wacom pad is pretty hard, but do you see this? I think you see this. Okay. So I think what you can do is point out uh, major features like Linux containers and explain what is Linux container, right? So you have a application, oh man, hard. Application and uh, runtime library and package it into one, and then you run it on, Atomic Host or RHEL, uh, and you can have a whole bunch of these images multiple times, right? So that's benefit. And let's see. And also another is the Windows interoperability. So you uh, you have Windows and Linux, and you can do some explanation on SSSD and maybe on the Realm D, and also another major talking point is in-place upgrade, right? So in-place upgrade, and it provides two tools, right? So pre-upgrade tool and the actual upgrade tool, and it's about 6x to 70, right? Um, and also you can talk about uh, system D, what it provides, like a process management and resource management using C groups and stuff like that. And another one, of course, is uh, Anaconda updates, right? So you have a system and it provides hub and spoke uh, 3 stages, pre-configured profiles. I'm really sorry about the handwriting, but it's really hard to do this on pad. But the last one is management tools such as OpenNMI. and we can talk about something about security and those things. And actually, I'm running out of space, but I can do is I can move this right now. Good. So, oops, hold on. Red's fine. Okay, so to tie all this, we have the basic components that's being updated, right? So we can talk about network or um, uh, file system or storage or those things, right? So if you don't have too much time to explain everything and going through all the slides, maybe you can do this on a whiteboard. Okay, so with that, I am done and I'm open for Q&A. Any questions? So I'm going to provide this deck, and also we have a tons of a documentation on PMT, and also I am working on some more enablement sessions for a partners, and also this whiteboard um, thing is available in MP4, so I'll work on that. I'll provide the link for that as well. So, do we provide a merge R for RHEL7? The answer is yes. We will continue to provide merge Earl. Uh, the only thing that is different from RHEL 6 merge real time is that more and more components are included into RHEL 7 already. So our development cycle is going to be a little bit easier, I think. But yes, it will. We will release real time sometime after the RHEL 7 GA. Yes, yes. So our installation process will have a rollback capabilities. So you can take a snapshot and then be able to roll it back. So not, I haven't actually tried the pre-upgrade, so I'm gonna have to get back to you on that particular capability. But um, yeah, I think you're gonna need to back up. But yeah, but I'll check on that. Any other questions? Okay, package manifest. I'll check, but I don't think that's gonna be dropped. I think we're gonna have it at GA timeframe, which is well, basically very soon. Um, Downgrade? No, we do not support downgrade. We are only supporting the latest version of RHEL 6 to RHEL 7. RHEL 5 to RHEL 7 or RHEL 5 to RHEL 6 is in the talks, but I don't think it's coming out at the anytime soon. So slides for the customer, yeah, we have that. We will provide that later. But yeah, we have some slides already on PMT portal. So what you can do is you can check each document has a, a very specific use case, and it gives you, you know, if this deck needs NDA or not, and information like that. So you can check that, and we'll give you the links for that later. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you all soon.
Okay, Rio, thank you.